you could clear the entire Republican field right now, do you agree that the heir apparent to MAGA is J.D. Vance?
Well, I think most likely, in all fairness, he's the vice president. I think Marco is also somebody that maybe would get together with J.D. in some form. I also think we have incredible people, some of the people on the stage right here. So it's too early, obviously, to talk about it, but certainly he's doing a great job, and he would be probably favored at this point.
No hesitation, by the way, on Vance Rubio. Tomorrow marking 200 days of President Trump's second term, but the president is looking ahead since he claims he will not be running again.
Yeah, he will have served 2 terms at that point, so that should do it. President Trump suggesting that Vice President J.D. Vance would most likely be the next one to lead the MAGA movement, but he didn't stop there, also suggesting it could be a joint ticket with Secretary of State Marco Rubio alongside his current vice president. Dustin Olson joins us now, pollster for American Pulse Research and Polling, and Pete Snyder's here, former Republican candidate for Virginia governor. Welcome to you both. Dustin, you look at polls. How do they like this idea, the Vance-Rubio ticket?
Well, I think both of them have pretty good favorability ratings when they're tested. The most recent Harvard-Harris poll has J.D. Vance at about 40%, which is not unusual for a vice president because they're not as known as the president. But I think he puts himself in a good position. He's been good at promoting the administration's agenda. He's really good on his feet. He's great in media interviews, and he's able to push back where a lot of politicians aren't able to. He's able to push back on media, and really has shown himself to be a very good candidate. And I think that's probably what we're going to see in the future.
Yeah, and also, too, I wanted to point out, if I can, Pete, with you, that we are awaiting this announcement at the White House at 4:30 this afternoon. I don't believe it was listed as what it exactly is, but I believe that Reuters and Bloomberg reporting that it's about a $100 billion investment by Apple. It may feature Tim Cook later today. And that goes to the broader point of, look, it's been 200 days since the president has entered into his second term. And we're talking about investments into the United States, tariffs and making $29 billion or more so far. And then obviously this migration, illegal migration crackdown, and so many other what many would dub accomplishments. What stands out to you in these 200 days?
Shaun, I think the experts said that our economy was supposed to be in tatters because of tariffs, right? Yeah. That we could never get the border under control, that the country would be falling apart and democracy would be gone. And instead, I think we had the first 6 months, the greatest first 6 months of any president in the modern era, and I'd probably argue of all time. It's been absolutely unbelievable. And that's why I love Donald Trump mentioning and touting J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance has been there on all of these issues, whether it's the border or the economy or absolutely destroying the legacy media. And Donald Trump knows that he doesn't want Make America Great Again to be only about him. He wants it to continue far past him, to take our country back to the greatness that we had before and far beyond. So I absolutely love it. I think Vance Rubio would be incredible. And you know, Donald Trump has just absolutely lit the world on fire with what America can accomplish, and you can actually feel it.
Sure.
People are more enthused about our country than ever before.
Yeah.
Did you want to move that helmet behind you really quickly and just put that down as a Cowboys fan?
No, we can keep fly, baby, fly.
Yeah.
Either way, there's no doubt fans of this administration right now, and to both of your point, several names come to mind, right? The vice president is an obvious one, J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, the DHS secretary, who we were just talking about, Kristi Noem's always making waves, and there's some Republican senators who you can tell probably also want the top job. Yep. Wide open field in 2028, so it'll be interesting to see what happens then for Republicans. But Democrats, it's less clear. You know, even in a recent podcast interview, Teamsters President Shaun O'Brien has some tough things to say about Vice President Kamala Harris. He's accusing her of pressuring his union for an endorsement, recounting one visit that happened in a photo op line. Listen to this.
So they do a photo op line. So Joan goes in the line, and Joan says, "I'm Joan Corey. I'm a vice president with the Teamsters Union." And she pointed her finger at Joan and said, "Teamsters better get on board." And so Joan says, "Excuse me? Yeah, Teamsters better get on board. I don't know why you haven't endorsed me yet." So she comes back and she tells me this, and I'm like, the nerve, right?
And again, this is an allegation. I'm curious if we might read about it in her upcoming book for the vice president, Dustin. But what does this tell you about, Democrats and just trying to shore up support from various groups? Is it authentic?
Well, I don't know that they're doing that much to shore up support from these groups. One of the things we've seen in polling over the last decade is a true realignment of the electorate, and labor Democrats have now started moving to become labor Republicans. We as a polling firm do polling for labor groups. So it's the world has definitely changed. I don't think they're going to win them back, and I would not look to her biography to have any truth in it. I doubt she's going to address this in that. But this is the problem the Democrats have, is they've definitely changed who they're going after. And we're watching the transformation of a political party. I don't know what the party looks like 10 years from now exactly, but if you see the kind of people that they're nominating right now, most of them are Democratic socialists. And I do think that's where you're seeing the party go. And they're alienating those middle America people. And I think that's going to be the future of the party.
Pete, obviously, you know about campaigning. So we'll just close with you and wrap with that. The pressure, no amount of pressure. She outraised Trump on the campaign. Obviously, she had the backing of, various unions, and it didn't work. None of it did. Final thoughts to you.
Well, look, she was an empty suit. She was a horrible, generationally horrible candidate, and having one of the most horrific administrations in the modern era. So she didn't have much to run on, and then she took for granted the unions. They took for granted the black vote. I mean, remember Barack Obama chiding black men for being misogynistic and not wanting to support Kamala Harris. No wonder President Trump did so well with all those groups, with labor, with Latinos, with the black vote. And that's only, to Dustin's point, going to continue as the Democratic Party goes further and further to the left into socialism.
Can't believe.
Vance and Rubio in the future, and we're going to have a great run, the golden age of America ahead.
I was just going to say, it's exciting, right? It's a fun time to be in this business where we get to talk about it, how politics is changing, how you've got folks who might have voted one way their entire life or their generations before them did, and now they're giving another party a second look. 200 days, Newsmax has a lot of extended coverage to mark that. Dustin Olson and Pete Snyder, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks so much.
Great to be here.